Sustainability means using what we need, but not wasting it.
Having a world for my kids to be able to use and enjoy when they get older.
Well, I believe it's very important
to live within our environment and not to exhaust any resources at all.
Is using our resources efficiently, whether it's water, electricity, everything to make a better future for our kids and grandkids.
It's just trying to make decisions that are mindful of your environmental impact.
It's not using up everything we have now, so nobody in the future has anything left.
The fact of the matter is, sustainability, while it may be an old concept, is relatively new and certainly in our industry.
Sustainability is not only about the facts and figures, the costs, the resources saved, but also about organizational change and developments.
Social, economic, and environmental are the three parts of it.
It's beyond conservation. It's an order of magnitude beyond conservation. It's more taking care of the planet for the long term so that we don't basically use things faster than they're being created.
But use it enough to be able to sustain and have time for it to regenerate itself and renew itself.
Part of making sure things can be carried out into the future, part of it is the environmental aspect, and that's what a lot of people think of as sustainability, but it's not all of it. And the other part is the social aspect, so making sure that people are well cared for and have living wages and can sustain themselves and their families. So sustainability goes a lot further than environmentalism, and that one of the challenges is to make sure that people know the difference between the two.
When people need to change their habits, it's not an easy thing to do. So you start with what I call the low-hanging fruit, the simple things to do. Let them know what they're already doing.
It really is, it's baby steps.
Well, let's see, what was it in the last building? Cheryl used to put these little signs up that said turn the lights out when you leave.
A lot of us left our computers on all the time and the lights on in the meeting rooms.
People just didn't know any better, and so we just threw everything away.
I think the most important thing to make it work at any organization is to keep bringing the information back to people. You hear it once, and I don't like to nag folks, but it's just important to hear the messages over and over again till you internalize them.
When I first started here, I didn't know much about, sustainability and recycling and reusing.
Last time, we weighed out 38 pounds of garbage, 10 pounds of it that could have been recycled, so 25% of it.
Well, looky here. When Cheryl started here, our sustainability coordinator, we formed what we call the Green Team, and it's to promote sustainable efforts within our own company.
Here, those could have been recycled.
What can we do to use our resources more efficiently, whether it's out in the field, repairing a main line, working in the office, in the finance department.
There's about 8 or 9 of us that meet about every other week.
We talk about what to recycle and how to get the word out, how to get the message out to people that this stuff can be recycled and what can't be.
Recycling and trash, for instance, to make it easier to recycle something than to throw it in the trash, or at least as easy. So we put all of our recycling containers right next to our trash cans. If there's a front and back, we put the recycling in front. We can make some things easy by not having to have any human interaction like motion sensors on lights. There's a lot of rooms in our new building, most of them actually, where if you're out for a certain amount of time, then the lights just go off. Another thing to make it easy is two-sided copying. Our IT department can and has made the default two-sided. So you're going to get two-sided on certain machines unless you actually need to have something one-sided.
Probably the biggest thing I do, for instance, the board meeting agenda comes out once a month. It's about 14 full-size agendas of 100 to 200 pages, and then we do 20 agendas that are probably 40 pages. And this month, for the first time, we put it on a CD.
I think it's the wave of the future. There's no reason for us to be transporting a bunch of paper back and forth when we can do it with electrons.
We put a lot of our current forms on the intranet, which is the employee-only internet for all intents and purposes. If they need it, they can just go there and get it, which we've also done the same thing with our publications. We put them all on the internet as well. So if the public needs something, they can just download it and they could either look at it or they could print it out themselves.
One of our accounts payable people had been printing out a sheet of paper every time that was attached to each set of receipts. And she said, let's just do a rubber stamp. So now we have one rubber stamp that is used when receipts come in instead of a piece of paper.
We might have somebody print up 1,000 of one brochure and then somebody else print up, another 1,000 of the same thing, where they didn't know that there was already 500 left over previously. So now if somebody needs something specific, they can come to me and I will know if we already have some. So it has cut down on resources and it's also saved us some money.
We get various different magazines and they get a router put on them to interested people, and they go around to each person and then they come back. There's kind of a library area over there, and then people can look at them whenever they want.
One of the things that we try to focus on lately is the amount of reports we generate on a daily basis. Historically, we've been generating a lot of reports, especially the green power reports. So we came up with this idea where we developed an online reporting system. We captured those reports before they reached the printer. And after that, we created a user interface, another program that sits on everybody's desktop that they will be able to launch that program, select that report, they can view it online, they have a full text search capabilities, and they can print it if they needed to. And since we implemented that system, we reduced the amount of reports that we generate by 75%. And actually, that was a huge reduction. And it's very popular among the users here. They just love it.
Basically, when I do food, and I do a lot of food here, I get canned pop or canned juice because it's recyclable. And I usually put a box in the meeting room, wherever it is, or they have a bin like this that they can put the cans in. We have plates and glasses and silverware in here, and we have the dishwasher, and it's well used. People take turns filling it. Well, everyone fills it and then take turns emptying it. It's a good system. Everybody knows how it works.
Start small. Do your basic little recycling. Before you throw something away, think about it. Think, is this really garbage? Is it garbage? Can we recycle it? Can we reuse this? That's how we started with our hydrants. We had a broken hydrant, and it was going to be a month before we got the part in to repair it. And so we decided to go out into our scrapyard where we were getting rid of everything. Said, oh, there's the exact same hydrant. I wonder if the part in there is good. We reused that part, and ever since then, we decided to start tearing apart our hydrants and using everything that was still good in them before we scrap the rest of it. We can probably reuse at least 50% of them, just depending on the wear and tear on them. As far as recycling for our department, we recycle our valve cans, which are aluminum, and then we have the cast iron ones, and a company comes and picks them up and separates them and melts them back down and reuses them. Some of the old timers that have been here a long time, like I said, they don't like to think of it as the sustainability aspect. It's more saving money. As far as dechlorinating our water when we're flushing, if you hit it from the fish aspect, that we're not killing fish, they're like, oh, okay, then that's a good thing because they fish. So you have to hit whatever interests them for them to want to do it.
Yeah, all the way on.
We flush about 8 months out of the year, and it's basically, its purpose is to clean the sediment and out of the main lines to restore the life of the mains. When we do our mainline flushing, we've gone to a bicycle shop down the street here, and they just toss out all their old inner tube tires, and we get them from them and we fill them with sand, tie off the ends of them, and we'll use that to route the water flow so it goes to a catch basin or something like that.
thanks to our IT and accounting departments, there's a lot less reports printed, especially the ones that were printed on green bar. You know, those of you who remember the vault that was stuffed with green bar reports, you know, that just doesn't happen anymore. A lot of it just gets automatically archived, and there are reports that people decided they just really didn't need, which is great.
I think what Cheryl did today was real helpful, and that's just kind of reiterating what it means and what individuals can do on their own to make this thing work. I know I'm still learning about it. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but gradually as we go along, it seems to make more sense.
Well, that's another important thing, is to monitor your progress and to let people in the organization know about what's going on and how well they're doing, like the electricity usage. I think that just knowing that electricity usage was going down, you know, is an incentive to employees.
I think it started with paper recycling, and then it kept growing, and now we're buying half our energy is from renewable sources. There's all kinds of things, and the staff has really bought into it.
It carries some clout when your manager or your supervisor says, yes, we need to do things this way. You know, yes, we are going to recycle our uniforms. We're going to use you know, plates and silverware, not throw away paper plates and plastic. It's not impossible to do sustainability without management support, but it is so much easier when management is behind it. And it needs to be more than just a memo saying, you know, yeah, this is important. Our managers are, and our general manager in particular, is right there practicing, you know, and participating in our sustainability efforts and talking about it to others.
More important than that is the fact that the Board of Commissioners, who set policy for the organization, have adopted goals to help set the direction that we as employees will go in this effort.
Even though sustainability might be a new word, it's not a new concept of the district.
You do need a coordinator, because you need somebody that's going to be able to keep us focused. Now, over time, you may not need that anymore, but you certainly need it in the beginning, and you certainly need somebody that keeps identifying new ideas and new ways of doing things that you can coordinate that activity through. It just doesn't happen on its own.
A lot of times people are worried that sustainable actions are going to cost more, they're going to require more labor, they're going to be a totally separate effort. And my job is to convince people that it just needs to be a part of a business's culture and part of the way we operate every day. You know, we have to balance our budget like anybody else. The additions for sustainability are to include environmental and social aspects of the bottom line. Life cycle costing takes into account the first cost, any maintenance or repair costs in the middle, and disposal cost at the end. And it looks at not only the economic cost, but the environmental costs as well. So, for instance, if you're buying a refrigerator, you may pay $700 for one. It's likely to last 15 years and cost $300 for electricity, which, you know, ends up being $1,000 over the long run. In contrast, you might pay $800 for another one, but it's only going to cost $100 in electricity over the long run, and maybe it lasts 30 years. You know, you're going to get a better deal by buying the second one, even though you're paying more at the store to start with.
I'm an engineer, so everything has some sort of cost-benefit ratio. I think the thing we have to be careful of with sustainability is to always have it in terms of dollars.
I'm able to make a business case for sustainable actions and help people understand that when they look at costs in the long term, that it's often even less expensive as well as the right thing to do. As Greg mentioned, we got our LEED silver certification. And as he also mentioned, that was not an easy thing. It took about 4 years of work to actually get here.
The staff came to us and said, when we build a new building, we'd like to do a LEED building. And we said, oh gosh, you know, this sounds like something that's going to be expensive. And then they showed us that really long term, it would pay for itself.
just to tell you a little bit about LEED. LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It was launched in March of 2000, and there are 4 levels of certification. There's just your basic certification, then silver, gold, and platinum. It requires a certain number of points, doing different things like buying local materials, using recycled materials like the carpet tiles here have recycled material in them. They're put on with non-toxic solvents. Our lighting is all compact fluorescent.
I think green building was stigmatized for so long as being defined by solar panels and sunshades and strange organic shapes.
When you just walk into this building, or the general public walks in, there's not a lot that jumps out at you as being green or LEED.
The Northwest is certainly leading the country in the number of LEED registered projects.
The best thing you can do is to keep what you have and renovate it and reuse it, and that way buildings can go for hundreds of years. The industry is built on replacement, and that needs to change.
I'd say the majority of our projects that we get involved with now are pursuing some level of LEED certification.
We pursued a lot of water efficiency measures out here, and our 40,000 gallon tank, the rainwater reclamation system, it's starting to gain popularity here in Portland.
There's no hard walls to the tank. It's essentially a single piece of liner. You've got a series of plastic structures. It's called an invisible structure, and you can pave over it, you can landscape over it.
So the water that comes off the roof of the new portion of our building goes through a basic filter, goes to a 40,000 gallon tank underneath one of our parking lots, and is reused to flush our toilets and for use in irrigation.
There are some downspouts that collect the water off the roof, so that we're trying to pump or filter or drain the cleanest water we can off of the roof into the storage tanks, which then has pumps and a line that feeds right into the mechanical room.
This is our mechanical room for the rain store system. We decided to make this glassed in instead of off in some corner so that we could show people what it's like. So right now there are over 2,000 registered projects in the United States. To get to one of those levels, there are only about 200 that have actually achieved that. In Oregon, only 18 have achieved some level, and 5 are certified, 8 silver like we are, and 5 at gold.
It's not that hard. And there are things you can do that are hard and expensive and time consuming. And there's so many things that you can do that are not.
The American Public Works Association has called us up, and they want to host a conference here. We received their first Julian Award for sustainability, so they know that that's part of our culture here.
We are willing to share our information with anyone who's interested.
I've already volunteered Cheryl to be one of the speakers at the conference.
We do customer attitude surveys, and we find that they are wanting to know more ways to use water efficiently, and we need to show our customers we're walking the talk. We're doing the same, whether it's water or energy or paper recycling. And so it's really been a great community effort. We have kits that we've designed to send to our new customers, or leak kits if they have a high water bill or think they have a leak. And we promote water efficiency. You know, turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth or shaving. Simple things like that. We have shower timers we hand out that are real popular. And we have this demonstration garden here. We have information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in our kiosk that people can gather. Most of it's regarding outdoor water use in their landscape.
And we do a youth education program with the kids in terms of conservation, and it all leads back to our sustainability effort. We do a calendar.
Kids calendar, what we do every year, we pick a water conservation theme, and the kids in the area draw a picture depicting the theme. We distribute the calendar at all of our events at the front counter. The kids get one, the schools get 100, I believe, and it's actually a really positive thing.
This is just one more piece of the things we do, from sustainability to our wellness program to the work, the customer service ethic these folks have. All of these generate a positive emotion and attitude.
How are you?
And that's why this organization has a 96% customer satisfaction rating. In our industry, that's unheard of, and in government, it's unheard of.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? You didn't have gloves on.
Yes, I did. Trust me.
I think it pulls everybody together working at a common cause to make the environment and everything better. And I just think anytime you do something like that, you feel good about yourself and others.
In 1999, my wife and I, after working at one of the major office supply companies, started realizing that quite a few people were throwing away their empty ink and laser cartridges. And we started finding some people who were interested in refilling them. So we ended up finding those buyers, sold the products to them empty, and basically formed a business around that. So we'd help other companies recycle the cartridges and actually give them money back. The City of Gresham acknowledges businesses that take the time to recognize overall sustainability. Our company likes to practice low energy use, minimizing lights on when we don't need them, low flow water. We're running our vehicles on biodiesel. The city recognizes our business for understanding what our impact is, and we're a good model for other companies to at least acknowledge that everything that we touch, if it's recyclable, then we will recycle. In the world of technology, we're seeing e-waste increasing. We actually make sure that companies and nonprofits and schools understand that these empty cartridges that come from their empty printers are actually worth money. And by doing so, we are actually a fundraiser. We've raised tens of thousands of dollars for schools and nonprofits.
My name is Bill Georgiadis. I've been working with the Water Bureau for the past 27 years.
My boss came to me with a problem to adjust the flows on the bubblers for the drinking fountains. He wanted me to maintain the aesthetic height of the bubble to where it still looked good and yet reduce the flow so we weren't using as much water.
There was close to like 450, I believe, thousand gallons of water going through these drinking fountains per day. We put them on timers and we reduced the total flow to 296,000 gallons per day.
So as I ran the flow through the bubbler and I adjusted the height, I came up with, okay, to reduce the amount of water, we need to reduce the hole.
We're down to 155,000 gallons per day, so roughly 47%.
And still maintain a good-looking bubble without it shooting and streaming. So that everybody can get a nice drink of water and still think it's a good-looking thing.
I guess I would say, why wouldn't you? You know, your business needs to continue on into the future. If you can do something that makes you more efficient, more effective, your employees happy, saves resources, and is not more expensive, why would you not?
I mean, we try to push for it, and I hope it will spread around. It has to, actually.
And I think it's just a question of, you know, when are you going to get on the train?
You know, the fact of the matter is, once you start doing it, it's not that it demands a commitment that you keep thinking about it. It should become second nature to you.
Everything that happens, every little step, makes a difference. And sometimes that's hard for people to remember. They don't think that, you know, that one piece of paper that they recycle or use the back of is going to matter. But it does, because, you know, if all of us are doing that, it makes an incredible difference.
I learned a lot today. I didn't know we had all the compost. I'm just here for the summer.
Oh, really?
I had no idea we did all that stuff, so it was good to know. It looks like we're doing a good job, so keep it up, Tualatin Valley.
Take the next step.